Okay, let's talk about a feeling that I'm guessing every single student has had. You know, the one where you absolutely have to study, but you just can't. If that sounds familiar, you are definitely in the right place.
Right? It's the big question. You're sitting there, the deadline is getting closer and closer, that big exam is tomorrow, but it feels like there's this invisible wall between you and your textbook. It's so frustrating, you just want to scream, "Why can't I just do this?" And that's the moment. You've got the best intentions, you've even cleared your schedule, but your brain has just completely checked out. It says, nope. And this isn't just you being lazy or procrastinating, it feels like a total system shutdown. And believe it or not, there's a really fascinating scientific reason why this happens.
So, what is actually going on in your head? Well, here's the most important thing to get right away. This is not a character flaw. It's not you being lazy. Research shows it's actually your brain hitting a protective off switch. It's a defense mechanism that kicks in when your brain thinks it's under threat. So, what are these threats that flip the switch? Well, it's usually a mix of these things. Each one is like a little drain on your mental battery. Eventually, your brain just decides that shutting down is the safest, smartest thing to do. Let's dig into what they are. First up is the big one, mental overload. Think about it. When your brain is just totally swamped with too much information or you're feeling suffocated by pressure and expectations, it does the only logical thing it can do to protect itself. It cuts your motivation to engage with whatever's causing all that stress. All right, now let's get into the chemistry behind that meh feeling, that total lack of enthusiasm. Because this isn't just some vague mood, it's a real biological process happening inside your brain. And it pretty much all boils down to one super important chemical. And that chemical is dopamine. You've probably heard of it, right? Dopamine is basically the good job chemical. It's the fuel for our brain's reward system. When you feel like you've achieved something, doesn't matter how small, your brain gives you a little hit of dopamine, and that makes you want to do that thing again. So, here's how the motivation meltdown happens. It's a chain reaction. First, you're studying for hours, but you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. There's no sense of progress. That causes your dopamine levels to drop. And without that chemical reward, studying starts to feel emotionally hard, almost painful. Your brain is literally telling you, hey, this isn't worth it. Okay, so that's the bad news. Our brains are designed to shut down on us to protect us. But, and this is a big but, the good news is we are not powerless here. We can actually restart our brain's motivation engine. Let's look at a few ways to do that. Sometimes a really simple change in how you study can make all the difference. Think about passive learning, just reading your notes over and over or highlighting. It feels like a chore because you're not really engaged. But if you switch to active learning, like trying to explain a concept out loud to an empty room or writing a quick summary, you force your brain to actually connect with the material. And that can be the spark that gets things going again. Now this is the most direct way to hack your brain's dopamine system. Don't tell yourself, I'm going to study for the final. That's way too big. Instead, make your goals something tiny, like I'm going to summarize one single chapter. Or even just, I will understand this one paragraph. By breaking a huge task into tiny, winnable goals, you create this steady stream of small victories, and that gives your brain the little dopamine hits it needs to keep you in the game. And of course, rebuilding your drive is also about building a healthier environment for your brain to work in. This means having a routine it can count on, getting enough sleep so it can actually recover, and, you knew this was coming, putting that phone away to cut down on distractions. And maybe most importantly, take a second to remember why you're doing this. Connecting your studying back to a personal goal, that gives the work meaning. And meaning is an incredibly powerful motivator. So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. That awful feeling of being totally unable to study is not a sign that you're a failure. It's not a sign that you're not smart enough. It is a signal. The research really puts it perfectly. This isn't about you failing. It's your brain sending you a very clear message that it needs a healthier, more meaningful way to learn. It's basically talking to you, saying, hey, this strategy we're using right now, it's not working. Time for a change. So, I'll just leave you with this thought. The next time you feel that wall go up, instead of getting mad at yourself, just pause and ask, okay, what signal is my brain sending me right now? And what's one small thing I can do to give it what it needs? Something to think about.